All right, welcome back. Talking about movies, we have with us film critic Jason Shawn, and we showed the list of Oscar movies, and I want to. You're going to tell us some of the ones that are out on video.
Yeah.
But before you do that, I want to show one that's not out on video. Okay, right. Bridge of Spies, and you can kind of talk over. I think that's just another great movie this year.
Oh, it's wonderful.
And we'll play some video as you talk over. What stands out about Bridge of Spies?
I mean, it's Steven Spielberg, who's like one of our greats. Working based on a true story, and that's always interesting.
It is based on a true story. Yeah. Blows your mind.
But also, it's one of these like little secret historical occurrences that, because of classified documents and stuff, that most people just didn't know about. And like now that we finally reached the point where the stuff gets declassified, we can find out these like really amazing stories about.
This is obviously about the Cold War.
Yeah.
And Mark Rylance, who we'll see in here, that's him right there. He was nominated for supporting actor. Do you think he wins?
It's possible. I mean, he's got an impeccable career as a theatrical actor, and this is his like breakthrough film role in the U.S. He's done lots of stuff in the UK and Europe before, but I mean, this is the one that's like getting major attention all over the place. But I mean, it's just like the acting categories. There's a lot of really interesting stuff out there. I don't want to say definitely one way or the other. I feel like supporting actor is Sylvester Stallone's to lose.
Yeah, it seems like it. All right, well, I wanted to point this out. This is a great movie. Now I want to point out some that are on video. The Martian.
Yes.
So this is one people could. After you watch OpenLine, theoretically you could rent this movie. Tell us about that.
You could go to a Redbox if you want to. It's great. It's a crowd-pleasing, humanist science fiction, but it's also a good adventure story. I mean, it's the thing about this film that's great and that sort of distinguishes it from like pretty much everything else that's out there is that it is a portrayal of the absolute best of humanity. I mean, there are people who are concerned about things, but there's no villains in this. I mean, like everyone is very much concerned about like trying to do the right thing, and like working for the betterment of humanity. It's some would say it's completely unrealistic because of that, but I think for me, it's inspirational in the best possible way. It's not inspirational in terms of like relying on like faith in a horrifying situation, but rather just like doing the best you can with what you've got, and everybody else doing the best they can with what they have.
And I want to show a little bit next of another movie that you love, Mad Max.
Oh yeah,
this is out now on. Yeah. Where could you get this?
You could get this on Redbox.
So it's out there if you want to get it.
You could get this at maybe if you're in Murfreesboro, you still got local video stores. I know that. Possibly like somewhere around town. I think in White House. I think my old video store there is still.
But so we're looking at it here. What you kind of said. What stands out to you about this movie?
I mean, it's kinetic, it's crazy, it's visionary while being completely applicable to a lot of the issues that we're going through right now, as far as like, plutocrats who hoard the wealth for themselves and, keep people riled up to keep them from like deposing them and rising up and reshaping things. And it's a deeply feminist film. The action is insane. It's really striking.
It's very striking. Visually, you can see very, very striking.
And the acting is great. I mean, it's no one going into this film will get exactly what they expect, but everyone is pleasantly surprised. I mean, it's a unique and amazing thing, and I honestly feel like it could happen.
You feel like it could win?
I feel like it could win, and that would make me really happy, because it's like there are a lot of people like me, egghead types, film critic types and all, but there are a lot of people who like, all of the Best Picture nominees are good films, so you have to go with the one that you feel the most passionate about, and this movie people feel passionate about.
All right, well, a couple others. We'll just play video underneath. Revenant, a movie that is stunning.
It's
and it
absolutely
received the
gorgeous.
most awards.
Yes,
Now it's not out on video right now.
Right, but it's in theaters everywhere.
Yeah, it's in theaters everywhere. And I want to try. I think we have video of it. I want to try and show some of it. What about this movie?
It's stunning to look at. I mean, Emmanuel Lubezki, who is the cinematographer on this, he won the Best Cinematography Oscar last year for Birdman and the year before that for Gravity. So he's quite possibly going to go 3 for 3 with that. But I mean, there's so much about this film that, like, visually and kinetically, it has a sense to it that it's got unique textures, and it's 11 hours long, which is fine, whatever. And I feel like it could have been the best film of the year, except people start talking in it, and then it's that same old macho foolishness dialogue that, like, plagued Birdman and just, like, choked the life out of it. Because, like, whenever nobody's talking in this movie and it's just the sounds of nature and the score.
There's the attack.
Yeah, the bear attack.
Amazing,
yeah. And there was never a bear. Like, I feel like this could actually take the visual effects Oscar away from Star Wars, because there was never a bear there, and that bear attack is visceral to no end. So we'll see. I mean, like, if nobody had talked, if The Revenant was 90 minutes long and had no dialogue and was just sound effects in the score, it'd be the best film of the year. Unfortunately, it
looks pretty violent as I'm watching it.
It's violent.
I saw it. Yeah, it is. Yeah. We don't see a lot of that on OpenLine. All right, let's come back to
it's a trailer. It's Green Band.
It's fine. Yes. All right, The Room. One other movie. We don't have video of that, but I saw that over the weekend. It's just called Room.
Right? It's just called Room because The Room is like a campy, quote unquote, bad movie from 2003. That's completely different. There was actually in the time before the Belcourt shut down for its renovations, they had Room, The Room, and an amazing Canadian movie called The Forbidden Room, all showing on the same 2-day period. So that was fun.
Okay, that is fun.
But it's called Room. It's based on a best-selling novel. It's an incredible story, very intense though. I mean, it's the kind of thing that people come in, you can tell if they know what they're getting into, and you just want to be like, this is intense, but it's good. It's going to pay off. And I could honestly see Brie Larson getting an actress Oscar for that, because it's such an intense performance, and it's sort of like people like to reward the Academy really likes to award. It doesn't have to be your first big movie, but it has to be the one that everybody talks about. So it's sort of like, it's weird. They've got their own hierarchies. They've got their own, like, arcane rules for it. But,
I saw a critic who said it's the best movie in a decade. You think that's too much?
I think that's too much. I do. I mean, I like the film quite a bit, but I mean, it's
I don't know how you make a judgment like that.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how you judge a movie like Mad Max against Spotlight, or Room against Revenant. I don't even know how you do that.
They're all doing different things. So at a certain point you have to move beyond the craft and just what you respond to passionately. And that's why I feel like Mad Max, it could happen. It could happen. It just triggers that, like, completely irrational, like, just feeling in the gut.
All right, and again, what I want to do is give people a sense of maybe movies that they didn't see that they should go see. Let's look at animated feature films, and there's some really good ones. Inside Out
they're all
was
great.
just
amazing.
It's
honestly, the animated feature film category is stronger than the Best Picture nominees. There are 5 films, and every single one of them is excellent.
That's saying a lot. Inside Out is, I think, the primary
Bing
one
Bong.
that I saw.
Bing Bong, can't mess with Bing Bong. It's
And what does that mean?
Bing Bong from Inside Out. Okay. I mean, like that's going to be like Old Yeller or Bambi's mother. That's like, Bing Bong is like going to be part of, like, people's children's development for, like, the next 40, 50 years.
Right. Just a really good movie, and you're seeing some of it here. Is this is the front runner, would you say?
I would say it's the front runner just because it's the best known. But the thing is that, I mean, if people take the chance to look at all of the films, I mean, there's so much going on. When Marnie Was There from Studio Ghibli in Japan it's a beautiful, beautiful story, wrenching, of course. Shaun the Sheep has no dialogue whatsoever, but it's from Aardman in the UK. I mean, like, who did Wallace and Gromit? I mean, it's funny. Like, your kids know Shaun the Sheep, and the movie is just delightful. Like, you can put it on for anyone, and because it has no dialogue, you know, they're gonna dig it. You know, like the littlest of kids to the oldest of folks, they're gonna feel that. And then Anomalisa, which is my pick for the best one. I mean, it's stop motion puppets telling a very, you know, adult story about loneliness and alienation, but it's just, I mean, it's just stunning.
The bottom three there are all out on video right now.
Mm-hmm. And Boy in the World, a film that I programmed for the Nashville Film Festival last year, it's from Brazil, and it's basically just about like a kid trying to figure out, you know, what he can do to help make the world a better place. You know, which sounds like it could be like exasperating, but it's not. It's really like pretty and unique and inspiring.
So as we continue to talk about movies that, you know, well, and the Academy Awards, let's go to the directing category. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of, that's a really fascinating category to me. Mm-hmm. And The Big Short, Mad Max, Revenant, Room, Spotlight. Those are the ones.
I don't see why Adam McKay is on there for The Big Short. Like, I like the film. It starts out real rough. And the fact that Todd Haynes got left off of that is, I mean, that's ridiculous. Like, if you look at a film like Carol, like, it's not just like directed in the way that like getting good performances out of the actors and, you know, like making sure things cut together. We're
seeing video now from
The Big Short. Yeah.
What is that about?
It's basically the background to the financial crisis, how like several different economic speculators, students, theoreticians, moneymen saw what was happening in the world of subprime mortgages, and they realized that like things were going to build to something that was just going to shake the global economy to pieces, and so they acted accordingly.
This is a very ambitious movie.
Oh yeah.
It's trying to teach you
and
these financial terms and these things that happen.
And it does it in a slightly condescending way, but it doesn't, I mean, if you know the stuff, it feels condescending, but if you don't, it honestly feels like it's trying to reach out, and like it has a noble goal at its heart, which is like letting people know what's going on and, you know, explaining how this awful thing happened and how it's happening again, and there's nothing that we as, you know, like basic human beings can do about it. I mean, so it's definitely a thing, but as far as like what directing involves, like that, no. Todd Haynes should be on there. Eventually, he's going to be one of those people that gets an honorary Oscar, like, you know, 5-6 years before he dies, and everyone's going to be like, oh, we should have handled this better. I mean, it's what happened to Stanley Kubrick. It's what happened to Robert Altman. It's what happened to Alfred Hitchcock. You know, the Academy is very consistent in like overlooking genius when it's dependable.
So you're saying, all right, so he directed Carol.
Yeah.
You're saying that should have been in there.
Absolutely.
But all right, if you have to pick, we're gonna have to go to break here. But if you had to pick, who do you think wins in that category?
I think George Miller's got that. I think even if Mad Max doesn't get Best Picture or any of the other, I mean, it's the second most nominations at the Oscars this year. Even if it doesn't get Best Picture, I feel like directing is going to be George Miller's. Because they gave it to Alejandro Iñárritu last year for Birdman. And
you don't think you'll get it twice?
I don't think so. If they do, that's just ridiculous.
All right. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.